So as I briefly mentioned in a previous scene about where I showcased the designs for Second Brain, I think that the human brain really works by having a series or a giant web of nodes and information memories that people have collected or just in passing seen. And when we get ideas, it's when we make connections between these. And so I mentioned that a smart person would either have a large collection of nodes that they've seen that they could connect dots between, or just be really good at connecting those dots. So with the same amount of connection, or with the same amount of dots and nodes, one person could be, generating like, 50 ideas, and another person could be generating 500 ideas. The second person would just be very good at connecting those, just be very good at making those connections. So the ideal scenario is you just have a lot of nodes to draw from, and secondly, you just are really good at connecting them. And that is the ultimate thing that I want to eventually do. So I call it brain loading, but whenever I want to learn something new, or just in general in life, I always try to flood as much information and as much nodes into my brain as possible, so that it may not be useful now, but later on, if I want to get a new idea or whatever, ideas are something that just kind of strikes, right? But passively, I always try to have that information. And so the best way for people to do that, I think, is reading books. That's why everyone says, read a lot of books. It's just a lot of knowledge that you could draw from. You never know when it could come into use. Come into use. Secondly, you could even learn a lot from like watching videos, YouTube. I think video is kind of the next frontier. As important as books are, I think video is a lot more. People might be able to remember it more, depending on how you kind of learn. Some people are more visual. But anyway, those are different forms of collecting information. And famously, Warren Buffett and I think also Charlie Munger mentioned something that he's never met a smart person that doesn't read. So it's incredibly important to collect this information. And what Warren Buffett does, I think he also just reads for like 2-3 hours a day, just all the newspapers. And you got to know what's going on in the field in order to make good decisions, right? Especially with investing and finance. So for me personally, I also just do that, like reading news, and whenever I have some downtime from focused work, I tend to just open up YouTube and just watch a lot of information. I have certain people that I follow, or I also just read a lot of news. So I must have like 5 or 6 different news apps on my phone, and I have like my news alerts on specific topics, so like machine learning or artificial intelligence or automatic speech recognition. Those are certain fields of interest that I have, and I'm always looking out for new kind of data. And you never know, like a lot of the ideas that I've had have just come from me browsing the news and watching or looking at a news story, and then all of a sudden I just get an idea to do something. So that's just a really important part of my day. Usually I start off my day with it because I think the human brain is a little bit more, or maybe it's a lot more creative in the beginning. I developed a product just for this use called Brainloader. The issue that I had with existing news applications was I was not able to track exactly what source I was reading. And again, I really like tracking things. And so this was a way for me to every single day or look back at any day and see what news sources that I read, what news articles that I read, and if I like anything, then save it. So here's a demo. Okay, so this is a demonstration of Brainloader running on my older phone. So this is written in React Native. So as you can see, this is the home screen. This everything is divided into categories of interest that I have. So every day the goal is to watch as many or download as many categories as possible. So generally I start with just news. This is general tech news. So I guess it should be called technology rather. So here, it's basically just a web view. So I can look at any news website, and I've pre-populated it here with different types of news sources. So TechCrunch is kind of my go-to. Then there's NextWeb, Verge, and I can actually swipe between them. So it's much quicker access. Now, the reason I decided to make them web view was I was not very happy with the way Apple News or any other news applications was distilling all the information down into their own native view. there's benefits of it, but it kind of broke images sometimes, and the narrative was also just a little bit whack. So I decided to do this. For example, for Y Combinator, I wanted to be able to see it exactly in this. For Hacker News, I mean, I wanted to be able to see it in this exact format. So once I am done brain loading something, so generally, I try to read everything that's on the front page. So it'd be like, okay, delete motion. Okay, so then I would read about it. If I want to, I can save it, like read later, and that would save it somewhere. If I am done with TechCrunch, then I'll do download complete and see what just happened. It said that was complete, and then it increases this little mark here. So with each successive site that I complete, right here, it's increasing this mark. So if I go home, it shows that I have downloaded 7 out of 27 sources. So each new source would be a source. So if I wanted to learn about design or Brainload, so I usually start with Behance, checking out all these different ones, download complete. Move on to the next. There's Dribble, Design Milk, and then I go back. And then this is the part where I really wanted, this is kind of the most of the reason why I wanted something like this. I can see an exact history of every single day, how much I've downloaded. And so it's almost, as much as it is a useful tool to download information, it's also a motivational tool, because the idea is I want every single day to be filled to almost 100%. And it helps me just keep going. This one, it says this is old because this is my old phone. I'm using my new phone to record this. Products, always start with product hunt. There's also beta list. Those have been pretty good. And that's how I get ideas for new products, as well as how I scout talent. So if I see an interesting team doing something, then I would usually email them and try to talk to them or meet up with them. Even if there's nothing immediately kind of necessary, I usually try to reach out to people, because you never know who you meet. And I've met most of my co-founders and collaborators through just cold emailing. Twitter is also a great resource for me. Download. As you can see, if I go into history, you'll see that I'm pretty close today to all of them, but I kind of cheated. So yeah, there it is, Brainloader. It is not available right now, but I might make it available. Design-wise, it's fully complete. There's a few other features that I want to add to it, but so far it serves me well, so I'm going to continue to use it.